Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Tuesday night. And we begin tonight with the search for the missing after a vacation nightmare. Two planes colliding, tourists on those sightseeing planes over Alaska when the planes collided. One of the planes seen taxiing for takeoff on an earlier flight. One plane sank into the water. The pontoons of the other can be seen floating near the shore there. The Coast Guard and Good Samaritans responding to the scene. 16 people were on board the two planes. At least 4 dead. Several more are in the hospital tonight. And as I mentioned there, the search is underway at this hour for the missing. ABC's Will Carr leads us off from Ketchikan, Alaska.
Tonight, the Coast Guard is combing this rugged stretch of Alaskan shoreline, urgently searching for 2 people missing after that deadly midair collision. For the first time, we're seeing the wreckage from this single-engine plane. The pontoon floats flipped upside down, jutting out of the ice-cold water.
2 planes did, in fact, collide at midair.
The first call came Monday around 1 o'clock on a clear afternoon. A float plane with 10 passengers from the Royal Princess cruise ship was just returning from a breathtaking tour when it crossed paths with a second tour plane carrying 4 more passengers from the same cruise. The 2 aircraft collided, killing at least 4. Several survivors swam to safety. Some hurt so badly they were airlifted to the hospital. Rescuers, including Good Samaritans, raced to help, searching a massive debris field scattered across both the land and the water. The larger plane sinking.
It's pretty difficult at this early stage to piece together the flight dynamics of who hit whom. But one thing is very clear, and that is the larger airplane was partially controllable while the smaller one came apart in midair.
That smaller plane was run by Mountain Air Service, a family operation. Air tours are popular adventures for cruise passengers who want to see Alaska's cascading frontier. This video was taken just 3 days ago from inside the larger plane involved in the accident, operated by Taquan Air. Last year, another one of the company's planes crash-landed into this mountainside, and the Coast Guard had to rescue 11 people. Tonight, Taquan Air has suspended operations and says it's cooperating with investigators.
All right, so let's get to Will Carr. He's live in Ketchikan, Alaska tonight. And Will, we can see that float plane hangar there right behind you. NTSB investigators, you were telling us, just now arriving?
That's right, David. The NTSB had a long way to go. Coming in from Washington, D.C., the GO team literally just got on the ground. They're planning to go to the scene and to interview survivors as they try to figure out exactly what caused this crash. David.
Will Carr leading us off tonight. Will, thank you. We are also following a breaking headline at this hour from Washington involving the president's son, Donald Trump Jr. We have learned tonight that Trump Jr. has struck a last-minute deal. He will testify behind closed doors after being subpoenaed. Until now, it had been unclear if he would comply with the subpoena, and Mary Bruce has late reporting now from the Hill.
Faced with a subpoena, tonight the president's son is agreeing to go another round, striking a deal to testify again before the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee. Just this morning, the president frustrated.
Well, you know, it's really a tough situation because my son spent, I guess, over 20 hours testifying about something that Mueller said was 100% okay. And now they want him to testify again. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but it seems very unfair to me.
But now Donald Trump Jr. has agreed to testify behind closed doors in mid-June. The interview will be limited in time and scope. The deal ends a tense standoff between the president's son and the Republican-controlled committee that had put many Senate Republicans in an awkward position.
I wouldn't put him back into this circus.
There's a lot of political motivation for keeping this story going.
At some point, this is not about finding facts. This smacks of politics.
Tonight, Trump Jr. is promising to repay those loyal Republicans. A source saying Trump Jr. is incredibly appreciative to the members that went to bat for him, and he will return the favor come the 2020 campaign.
All right, Mary Bruce live up on the Hill tonight for us. And Mary, there have been so many questions about this, but tonight you're learning why the committee decided to subpoena the president's son in the first place?
Well, David, sources tell us that twice Donald Trump Jr. agreed to appear voluntarily before the committee, but that both times he failed to show up. That then forced the committee to issue that subpoena. And tonight, it is still unclear what exactly they want to ask him about. But there are many remaining questions about Trump Jr.'s role in that Trump Tower meeting with the Russian lawyer and negotiations over Trump Tower in Moscow. David?
All right, Mary Bruce, on a windy night there in D.C. Mary, thank you. Meanwhile, our Cecilia Vega today asking President Trump about that report that the administration was considering sending 120,000 U.S. troops to the Middle East amid these rising tensions with Iran. How the president answered. Here's Cecilia now.
Today, we asked President Trump about that New York Times report claiming his administration is weighing a plan to send 120,000 troops to the Middle East if Iran strikes U.S. forces or resumes its nuclear program.
Mr. President, are you planning to send 120,000 troops to the Middle East in response to Iran?
I think it's fake news, okay? Now, would I do that? Absolutely. But we have not planned for that. Hopefully, we're not going to have to plan for that. And if we did that, we'd send a hell of a lot more troops than that.
120,000 troops would rival the number of Americans sent to invade Iraq. Today, a senior Iranian official reportedly accused the U.S. of playing a, quote, very dangerous game and attempting to drag Iran into an unnecessary war. The boiling point comes 1 year after the president pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal and amid increasing flare-ups. On Sunday in the Persian Gulf, 4 oil tankers, including 2 from Saudi Arabia, were attacked at the entrance to the world's most important oil trading route. An American official telling ABC News the initial U.S. assessment is that Iran or groups supported by Iran placed explosive charges on 4 of the ships, blowing a 5 to 10-foot hole in each of them. The U.S. has also deployed a carrier battle group and B-52 bombers to the region.
If they do anything, it will be a very bad mistake. If they do anything, I'm hearing little stories about Iran. If they do anything, they will suffer greatly. We'll see what happens with Iran.
All right, so let's get right to Cecilia Vega here with us in New York tonight. And I understand Iran's supreme leader is now weighing in tonight.
Yeah, David, the Ayatollah says that neither side wants a war. He says, in fact, there is not going to be a war. You just saw that exchange that I had there with the president today. He said he doesn't want to have to send a large deployment of troops into that region, but he says he will if he has to.
All right, Cecilia Vega, always great to have you in New York, by the way. We move on to other news tonight, and a chilling investigation. A man who worked as a traveling carnival worker is now accused of being a possible serial killer. Authorities in Virginia tonight say the suspect has now confessed to killing 2 women and a teenage girl. And this question, could there now be other possible victims in other cities? The investigation widening, and here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Tonight, a suspected serial killer who worked at carnivals is behind bars. Police in Washington County, Virginia say 23-year-old James Michael Wright admitted to killing 3 women. 22-year-old Elizabeth Van Meter, 17-year-old Jocelyn Alsop, and 25-year-old Athena Hobson. Police say Wright told them he met all the women while traveling with a carnival, but claimed all 3 shootings were accidents. Wright collided head-on with a school bus in March, which police say helped to crack the case.
A cell phone belonging to the missing Johnson City woman, Hobson, was located in the suspect's truck.
On the very same road as the crash, police say they found 2 victims in shallow graves. They're still searching for the body of Hobson. The women were allegedly murdered over an 18-day span in Tennessee and Georgia.
The information gained from that initial interview regarding Ms. Hobson led to the information about the other victims.
The sheriff's office is now reaching out to investigators in other areas where the carnival traveled to see if there are possibly more victims. David?
Lindsay Davis with us tonight. Lindsay, thank you. There is an investigation tonight after a deadly altercation between a police officer and a woman near Baytown, Texas. That's near Houston. Authorities are looking closely at eyewitness video. Police say the officer was trying to take a woman into custody for outstanding warrants, trying to grab her hands. Authorities say she grabbed the officer's stun gun and used it on him. The officer firing his weapon several times, 1 bullet killing her. At one point, they say she yelled she was pregnant. Police now say she was not. The incident is under investigation. Next here this evening, a wet and windy night in much of the Northeast for the commute home as that nor'easter now moves out, dumping more than 3 inches of snow in Reedsboro, Vermont before leaving. In Florida, a trooper working an accident on I-95 there nearly killed when a car skids toward him. He jumps up, only breaking his ankle, luckily. And in New Mexico, a flash flood rescue, a Good Samaritan helping a woman with 2 children. But tonight, a new system we're now watching, and Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z is back with us this evening on a very wet night here in New York. Hey, Ginger.
David, wet and cold. LaGuardia Airport broke a record low temperature for the 2nd morning in a row. I've got gloves on and it's May 14th, but we are about to change this miserable weather here. From miserable here to dangerous on the West Coast. Let's look at that storm. The low comes on, especially tomorrow into Thursday. 2 to 4 inches of rain in Northern California. That's a big deal this late in the season. 1 to 2 feet of snow in parts of the Sierra and the Rockies. Then it is Friday and Saturday that I'm really concerned. From South Dakota to Texas, we're talking about severe storms, including large tornadoes, hail, and of course wind that can take out power. David.
Ginger Z with us again tonight. Ginger, thank you. In the meantime, we turn to the desperate search for a hiker missing in Maui, last seen nearly a week ago now. Amanda Eller's wallet and cell phone were found in her SUV at the foot of the hiking trail. Her family from Maryland now asking experienced hunters to join the search. Here's ABC's Chief National Affairs Correspondent Matt Gutman.
Tonight, the increasingly desperate search for Amanda Eller, missing now for 6 days.
I am a physical therapist and a certified yoga instructor.
The 35-year-old's family relying on a small army of volunteers as the mystery deepens.
There's been no evidence whatsoever of where she is.
Maui police calling off the search after 72 hours, as is their procedure. But volunteers still fanning out amidst the eucalyptus groves of this Maui reserve.
There's cliffs, there's ravines, there's so many places that you could fall and be unseen. It's a bit of a treacherous forest.
An avid hiker, Eller disappeared Wednesday after shipping her mom a Mother's Day gift. She left her keys under a tire, wallet and phone in her white SUV. Her family now fearing the worst.
She's probably injured and weak at this point. It's making it very difficult.
David Eller's family hopes that her conditioning and her athleticism will help keep her alive. Now, police tell us they are still investigating and haven't ruled anything out, including foul play, David.
Matt Gutman with us again tonight. Thanks, Matt. Next tonight, hear the wrongful death lawsuit against Tiger Woods. Parents of a bartender at Tiger Woods' restaurant are now suing the golf star, his girlfriend, and the restaurant for allegedly over-serving their son, who then died in a drunk driving accident. Tonight, Tiger Woods is now responding, and here's ABC's Victor Akendo.
Fresh off an historic win at the Masters, the most famous golfer on the planet, Tiger Woods, finding himself in legal trouble again tonight.
He was a wonderful son.
The family of 24-year-old Nicholas Immisberger, who worked as a bartender at Woods' Florida restaurant, now filing a wrongful death lawsuit against the 15-time major winner, his girlfriend Erica Herman, who works as general manager, and the restaurant, alleging Immisberger was served alcohol to severe intoxication, then crashed his car and died in the accident last December. Woods was not at the restaurant that night, but the family's lawyers allege Woods was aware of his addiction to alcohol and say Immisberger's blood alcohol level was more than 3 times the legal limit when he crashed.
They fueled his addiction with more alcohol instead of help.
Woods, who just received the Medal of Freedom from President Trump last week, addressed the issue at a news conference for this week's PGA Championship.
Well, we're all very sad that Nick passed away. It was a terrible night, a terrible ending, and just we feel bad for him and his entire family.
The parents say their son was planning on going back to school. They're now seeking unspecified monetary damages. David?
Victor, thank you. The school bus today involved in a chain reaction accident on a North Carolina highway. Take a look. The bus was carrying 15 children from a Head Start program, ending up on its side there after a pickup truck missed a stop sign and slammed into it. Another car was hit as well. Paramedics treating 17 people. The driver of the car was airlifted to a hospital. The accident on Highway 52 near Albemarle. Next tonight, the explosive case that made national headlines, and it's back in the news tonight here in New York City. The NYPD's top trainer now testifying at Officer Daniel Pantaleo's disciplinary trial, saying he used a banned chokehold trying to arrest Eric Garner in 2014. The defense claims he never put pressure on Garner's neck. Garner's last words telling officers, quote, "I can't breathe." Next tonight, the guilty plea in that horrifying attack at the Mall of America. The defendant admitting he tossed a 5-year-old boy from that 3rd-floor balcony. And tonight, what the family has said about the boy's recovery. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshef.
It was a shocking crime. A 5-year-old boy randomly thrown from the 3rd-floor balcony at the Mall of America.
Someone just fell from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor.
Tonight, the man who did it, Emmanuel Aranda, pleading guilty to premeditated attempted murder. Now facing up to 19 years behind bars after telling investigators he cased the mall looking for someone to kill. He claimed he was searching for an adult, but instead grabbed little Landon.
At this time, we do not believe there is a relationship between the suspect and the child.
Prosecutors say today's deal will give comfort to the boy's family after the harrowing incident in April. Aranda's family today saying he suffers from mental illness, claiming they've been trying unsuccessfully to get him help for years.
We pray for the family. We still have the family in our prayers, hoping for better results for the little boy. Our heart goes out to baby Landon.
David, tonight we know Landon is out of critical condition. His family hopes he'll be home by June. David?
Ariel, some other news tonight in the accident involving President Trump's motorcade. 4 motorcycle officers escorting the president crashing on Interstate 10. That's in Lake Charles, Louisiana. It happened today. 3 officers are being treated tonight for minor injuries. President Trump's limousine was not involved. There is a mosque fire under investigation tonight as possible arson in New Haven, Connecticut. Authorities say the fire at Diyanet Mosque was deliberately set. Flames breaking out on the first floor and quickly spreading. The mosque heavily damaged during the month of Ramadan. No one was hurt. No arrests have been made. Federal authorities have now joined that investigation. To the new headline tonight in the college admissions cheating scandal, former USC soccer coach Laura Jenke pleading guilty today, admitting she took bribes to create fake athletic profiles, including for actress Lori Loughlin's daughters, she says. Jenke agreed to cooperate with investigators for minimal prison time. Loughlin and her husband face up to 40 years in prison if convicted. And the new health warning tonight about aspirin, a new study confirming regularly taking low-dose aspirin may actually increase the risk of bleeding in the skull. The American Heart Association, as we reported here, recently changed its recommendations, no longer suggesting aspirin to prevent a first-time heart problem. It's still recommended for patients who already have had heart issues. As always, the best advice comes from your doctor. That study appearing in JAMA Neurology. When we come back tonight, we're celebrating actor Tim Conway, who made us laugh, made his co-stars laugh, and tonight Carol Burnett saying, "I cherish the times with him." Tim Conway always making us laugh, making us roll too. But what was so funny was that he always made his co-stars laugh, even when it wasn't planned. Artie Corman could not contain himself. All of those appearances on the Carol Burnett Show.
Oh, we're getting this.
There were so many memorable characters. There was the oldest man here as a butcher. And Mr. Tudball with that accent inspired by his Romanian mother.
Yeah, didn't come out here to break this machine.
All of those moments making each other laugh. And Carol Burnett loved them.
Your first patient is waiting. Conway's goal in life is to destroy Harvey. He just... Dentist sketch. It was just absolutely... Harvey was a prisoner in the chair, and Tim was a new dentist.
Yeah, I'll be right with you.
Tonight, Carol Burnett saying of Tim Conway, "I'm heartbroken. He was 1 in a million. He'll be in my heart forever." And how did he want to be remembered?
Oh, I think maybe with a smile.
Tim Conway, as Carol Burnett said today, 1 in a million. I hope to see you right back here tomorrow. Good night.